This lesson, you're going to be using this evolution lab, and this is what the link looks like when you first click on it. So then go over here to the yellow play game button and click on that. Oh, you might need to say if this is your, just doesn't matter. Okay, so now say play game, and it's going to ask you to either log in or just do a guest pass. And so for right now, for this activity, just do a guest pass. You do not need to sign in with your actual credentials. A new window will pop up, and this is what you end up seeing. And so this is a really fun kind of evolutionary tree building activity. There are 6 missions, and I'm going to ask you guys to at least make it through the first 3 missions. They get a little, they get more and more complicated as you go, and it's going to unlock it as you go. So try to pick a time, especially if you're not signed in with your credentials. Try to pick a time when you don't close the tab, because if you want to keep going and you're just signed in as a guest, you're not going to be able to resume where you left off. So just pick like an hour to, an hour when you won't be disturbed to do this activity. And as I said, you do not, as part of the activity, you're not going to be required to get through all 6 missions. Try to get through at least 3, but there will be extra points for those who make it all the way through. So we have mission 1 is training trees, and we'll click on that. And each mission is divided into 3 parts, 3 additional, 3 things to do. So there's a video you can watch about trees. I'm not going to play that right now. But then when you click on red, green, and gecko, that takes us to our first item. And so here at the bottom, we see that there's a gecko and a palm tree. So we can click on them. We can click on the magnifying glass, and it will tell us more information about it. And then you can also kind of drag them up into this area. And this is our workstation where we're going to be making our trees. So for a very simple tree, you just put both of them next to each other, and it's going to link them together. And now what you need to do is find the traits. And over here, the traits are going to have like a colored circle next to it. So this one says cells with nuclei. So do these organisms have a cell with a nucleus, have cells with a nucleus? And if I were to drag it over, I could put it here, so it's only the gecko has it. I could put it here, so only the palm tree has it. Or I could put it here, so both have it. Now I think gecko is an animal, palm tree is a plant. I know plants and animals are eukaryotic. They have a nucleus. So I'm going to put it here, and watch what happens. Okay, it splits and goes to both of them. There's usually these questions at the end of each one. So good job, you've successfully built your first phylogenetic tree. Both the gecko and palm tree have cells with a nuclei. So now we need to add this fly agaric, which is a type of mushroom, a fungus. Again, we can click on the magnifying glass to find out more information about this particular organism. But just looking at it, would you think that this is more like a plant or more like an animal? And so, I always do this with students. They say, oh, it's more like a plant, so we'll put it there. Now notice when I'm dragging it, I can decide where I want to place it. So here, if I have it here, now we need to figure out who's a heterotroph and who's a photosynthetic autotroph. Well, if we remember photosynthetic, that's something that plants do. And if I were to put it here, that would be like me saying, oh, it should be the mushroom and the plant are both photosynthetic. So if I were to do that, okay, what you might not have noticed happen is that this trait did go to the palm tree, but it got rejected by the mushroom. If I do it again, look. Okay? This is telling us that the fly agaric is not a photosynthetic autotroph. And in fact, if you remember, decomposers don't do photosynthesis. So actually, this is more like the animal than it is like the plant, because both the animal and the fungus are heterotrophs. Okay, and if you set it up correctly, you see everything will light up in the end at the top. So now that you've completed the first puzzle, answer the question: is an animal or a plant more closely related to a fungus? We would say, well, it turns out that the animal is more related to the fungus than a plant. Okay? So then you can move on to the next thing, familiar faces. And now we have a dog, a goldfish, a king snake, and a stick insect. So now we need to figure out how they fit together and how these traits fit together. So take some time to kind of tinker around with this and see how you do. Go as far as you can and then take a screenshot of the farthest step you've gotten to in the missions when you're done, and you're going to submit the picture of the screenshot. Good luck and have fun.